The valiant work of the police. From big cities to small towns, law enforcement agencies across the country are in a bidding war for new officers, offering bonuses and perks, trying to recruit the next generation of police officers as many lifelong first responders leave the profession in droves. It's leading to significant shortages impacting cities that are already dealing with increases in violent crime. ABC's Jay O'Brien looks into why so many officers are walking away from the job.
All Anthony Carapucci ever wanted to be was a cop. An Afghanistan war veteran, the son of two police officers, public service felt like his calling.
Policing is essentially really all I know. I love the job.
But in September, after almost a decade with the Philadelphia Police Department, he quit.
Thank you for doing this.
And called us after turning in his gun and badge, feeling burnt out.
It was kind of heartbreaking in a sense. I'm not going to lie, because it's really everything that I knew, everything that I loved. Yes, it's a good job. It's an honorable job, but it's almost not worth it.
Philadelphia, like other major American cities, is seeing an exodus of police officers. Los Angeles is down at least 500 cops. New Orleans, more than 300 officers short from a few years ago. And in Wisconsin this year, the entire state reached a record low for police officers. But in the city of brotherly love, Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw is facing a shortage of 600 officers, roughly 10% of the force's full strength, nearly the same number of cops out on disability.
How long until your staffing levels are critical?
It's critical now. It's already critical. It was critical a year ago.
Bracing for a crushing wave of upcoming officer retirements, a city report also found Outlaw's team needs to triple its recruitment over the next 3 years to avoid even worse shortages.
You can only eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? We're going to be realistic about that. And in order, look at those numbers. That took time to get here.
It sounds like you're saying that your numbers of officers, the shortages you face, are going to get worse before they get better.
I think so.
You've had homicides right in this neighborhood
right
in
the corner, yeah.
Jamal Johnson, an anti-violence activist, told us he went from protesting police brutality a few years ago to pleading for more cops on the streets to stop the current surge of violence. Philadelphia saw a record-breaking 562 homicides last year. Upwards of 460 people murdered so far this year. At this intersection Johnson walked us to, one man was shot 16 times in October.
We've been out here for half hour, haven't seen a single police officer.
Right. It's not unusual.
That's common.
It's not unusual.
There used to be a police car, locals told us, frequently parked right out front of Nuvo's hair salon, but it hasn't been there for months.
What was the last time you saw a police officer out here?
Last year.
And inside, Kenitra Scott and Taylin Botino say that's when this intersection turned its most dangerous.
When the police were removed from parking out front here, is that when the killing started to pick up on that corner?
Yes, because since last year, all the killings started through the summer till now.
Outlaw says her department is still responding quickly to priority calls like murders and shootings. But patrolling and proactive policing, stopping crimes before they occur, are often some of the first tasks put on pause when a department's ranks dip.
It seems like you're leading a department that's just getting burned out.
I think many of us are. Many of us are.
Across the country.
Across the country. This is not unique to Philadelphia.
A recent survey of law enforcement leaders found over half of agencies in the U.S. have fewer officers than they did 4 or 5 years ago. And nearly 3 out of every 4 departments warned their number of new applicants dropped off significantly over that same period. In Virginia,
Batman, come out now, you're gonna get bit!
At the Fairfax County Criminal Justice Academy,
Boy, buddy!
Their numbers have been in steady decline for years.
In 2018, our average class size was in the 50s. Now our average class size starts in the 30s.
This police department's been around since 1940, and it's never had the vacancy rate that we have now, in spite of us doing more on the recruiting and retention end than we've ever done before.
Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says exit interviews show officers are leaving because they're not feeling valued and think they can find better opportunities elsewhere.
They're going into IT, they're going into sales, they're teaching. We've even had a personal leave to go be a farmer.
Many cops across the country now forced to work punishing mandatory overtime to make up for big shortages, and some discouraged by how they're treated, including hearing phrases like defund the police.
I know that the sentiment behind defund the police is police better, and police better particularly in black and brown communities. A 24-year-old cop who hasn't lived very long sees that phrase as a anti-police rhetoric. And it makes them feel a certain way, and it doesn't make them feel very good.
There are those that would say law enforcement's undermined its own credibility. What's your response to that?
But those are the same people that will call 911 and will file a complaint if we don't get there quickly enough.
But in this great resignation, where millions, including cops, are leaving lifelong jobs, the clock is ticking.
Does he pose a threat?
To convince millennials and even Gen Z
How to identify evidence.
that police work is worth it.
Examine your heart. Do you want to serve? Do you want to make your community better and your family safer and your neighbors safer and your friends safer?
In Fairfax, because their applicant pool is smaller, the academy is now focused on outreach to the most dedicated of potential recruits, like Mitra Imtiazian. She drives 3 hours both ways every day to attend this academy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Inspired by the call to serve.
I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
But back in Philadelphia,
I can't imagine being more worried about law enforcement than I am right now.
John Hoyt with the city's police union says the sons and daughters of cops, many of whom used to jump at the chance to enter the family business, now are not.
The problem is those mothers and fathers that are current police officers or retired are saying don't go into the business.
Right now, Commissioner Outlaw's task, she believes, is to convince the Philadelphia community that policing is still a trusted profession, under pressure to grow her ranks before too many cops leave for good.
I've always been optimistic. Law enforcement has been around for how many years now? I mean,
And you don't think it's going anywhere?
No, no.
Our thanks to Joe O'Brien for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.